we knew we had to camp outside in order to experience this. Seeing it on YouTube does not do it any justice. You have to be there in the moment, live.
Michael Jackson in concert. What was it like to actually see him perform live? What was it like to be a fan in Michael Jackson's heyday, to follow him to different events, and to actually get some of that love shown back to you as a fan? Because Michael Jackson loved his fans. Today, I have a really special guest. She's one of my Michael Jackson sisters, one of my best friends that I've met since I've joined this Michael Jackson community so many years ago. She's a longtime fan, and she was on the channel not too long ago on this show telling her story, and you guys asked for her to come back. So tonight we're going to talk all about a whole different time in Michael's life and her life. I'm super excited to invite her to the show. Reva, welcome back.
Hi, MJFANGIRL. Hi, Aisha. Great to see you again. Great to be back. Just looking forward to sharing my experience at the concert, the 30th anniversary concert, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, I'm so excited because this is a concert that you and I, although back then we didn't know each other, we both went to.
No.
But we both went to it.
We both went to it, yes.
And your experience is so different than mine because at this time, for me, I was just kind of learning about Michael still. I was really into the Jackson 5 and all that. And I was also all the way back by the popcorn stand. Your seats were a whole lot closer. So first I want to tell people, if you have not been introduced to Reva before, I'm going to pull up a picture of our very first interview where you can find that interview. It is on the YouTube channel, MJFANGIRL TV, but also on the podcast. If you're a listener to audio only, it's episode 16. She tells a story of how she met Michael, and it's just very emotional and it's awesome. But that was in 1995. Now we're talking a couple of years later, 2001. So yes. Reva, tell us about where you were at in your Michael Jackson fandom and what was going on for you in 2001 that led you to go to these concerts.
Oh my God. I was still heavily involved in the Michael Jackson fandom. So it didn't dissipate at all by that point. At that point, I was heavily involved working for one of his fan clubs, his official fan clubs here in the US, which was the MJFC fan club, the Michael Jackson fan club. That's what it was called. One of his official fan clubs here in the United States. So I was an officer, one of the officers for that fan club. So I was involved in all sorts of activities, planning events for Michael, and for the fans. So I was really heavily involved at this point, at this stage at the fandom.
Now, can you tell us what it was like? Because I personally don't remember, but I'm hoping that you do. What it was like when Michael or this concert was first announced, that it was even going to happen.
Oh my gosh. I know this was going to be a question. When it was announced, oh my God, it was, oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember when it was announced. I can't remember the exact time period. I think probably like around April, May. I could be wrong around that. But when it was announced that it was going to happen, it was like pandemonium. Everyone was excited. The fans went ballistic. It was like earth-shattering. It was an earth-shattering response that Michael is doing this, that yes, he's coming to the US because mainland US, because the American fans have been waiting for something like this for such a long time. So when it was announced that he was going to do this, everyone was on the pulse. Everyone was ready. Everyone was on guard. Like, yes, this is really happening. So it was a very exciting time. 2000, yes, it was a very exciting time. So yes.
Yes, and just to give people context, and I have a photo of the poster here that we can pull up, But this was the 30th anniversary concert. The solo years, this was celebrating I believe it was from the moment he had his first solo hit. So
Right.
for
It's
single,
anniversary. Yeah.
right?
Single. Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so this was held at Madison Square Garden. It was a 2-night event, September 7th and September 10th, 2001. And Reva, did you go to both nights?
I went to both nights. I got tickets for both nights. Yes, I got tickets. I was there for September 7th, but my seat was not for September 7th, and I was there for September 10th.
Okay, so
And yes.
can you tell us, because in my mind I would have loved to go to all the events like leading up to this, and like what was the process like for you and other fans even getting tickets?
Oh my gosh. Well, there were so many different channels to get in tickets. There was channels where people had to line up at, I believe, at ticket outlets to go. I think it was probably at Madison Square Garden to get tickets. But Michael had how I was able to get fan club, how I was able to secure tickets, as well as other fans. Michael had allocated a bulk of tickets to the fan clubs so that fans can get access to tickets rather than going to Ticketmaster or going to Madison Square Garden or all these other things. The fan club was allocated a certain number of tickets, and those tickets were sold to the fans. So those tickets were sold to the fans through the fan clubs.
So I always heard that Michael really cared about his fans, but this takes it to another level, because
Yes, he did.
what people don't realize is that these tickets, all the way in the back where I was at, we were like 3 rows from the back, which mind you, we tried our best to get these so many different outlets. If you guys have listened to previous shows, my dad was on here. We talked about it. He was on the landline and the other landline, and I was on 2 cell phones and AOL.com dial up trying to get this. And so the fact that Michael reserved these for fans, he must have really known like how hard it was going to be, because everybody wanted to go.
Because these were very exclusive tickets. So he knew the demand that was going to take place for fans to get access to the tickets. So that's why he allocated to his fan club. And I was being an officer of the fan clubs, one of my responsibilities or my duties were, I was someone sort of, you call like a ticketing agent.
Wow.
So I was helping fans getting to procure these tickets to the shows. That was my role. That was my duty. So fans would call my phone when my landline was ringing off the hook. People calling. Back in 2001, we want tickets. How many tickets do you want? This is what's available. So they would tell me, okay, this is what they wanted with seats, because there were different tiers, and the prices were discounted for the fan club. That was another thing that was typically known as well when you get it through the fan club. So instead of paying $2,500, or I'm just saying, or $400 for a ticket, it was going to be less if you get it through the fan club. So they were discounted. So there was wholesale price. There was a different pricing system.
That is amazing.
And Michael did this. Yeah. So you had no idea what I was like. It was such an exciting time. So fans would call my number, this is where contact Reva Thomas at such and such and such. Fans were calling, they were saying, we need 10. I think they were allowed a certain amount of tickets to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, okay, they would need 2 tickets or 4 tickets. I said, okay, wrote their name down, give them the information, who they need to contact. They need to contact Deborah Donnelly. She was the president of the fan clubs. So she was the one that was actually taking the monies, collecting the monies for the tickets, and we'll send them, either mail it to them, or I don't think we mailed it to them. We told them where they need to pick up the tickets, because 2 days before the concert, we had a table at the Hotel Pennsylvania where fans knew to come up at a certain time to come and collect your tickets. Bring your IDs and with your name, and we gave them the tickets in an envelope. So yeah.
Oh, that is so exciting.
So I was all involved with that. So I was like a ticketing agent. I think that's the correct word.
Yeah. Seriously,
Yes.
you were probably like, okay, you want seat row G, section 23 or whatever.
Yes.
I love that. Now,
and this was being a part of being an officer for Michael's fan club. So yeah.
So now what I want to ask you is, because this is a funny story too, and I just texted you with this like a couple months ago, that I was watching with MJJ Anonymous. We were watching like a clip of the 30th anniversary, and he was like, "Is that Reva?" He was like, "I know that's Reva." Almost pretty much the first row, right in the front.
Yeah, first row center.
Wow. Now tell us, okay, I'm getting the chills because I'm just thinking about how you must have felt being front row and center. So tell us what your tickets were, and then did you get any perks for being an officer of
being an officer for the fan club, and one of the officers of the fan club, one of the perks was Michael gave me tickets for both nights. So officers were able to get tickets for either night, for both nights. So that was one of the perks. And one of the perks was we did not have to pay the tickets for, we did not have to pay the ad cost price. We paid at a discounted price. So my ticket was for the second night, which was the front row, was $250 as opposed to $2,500, because those tickets were selling for $2,500. So those were the perks.
I'm not great with math. That's like a 90% discount, right?
A 90% discount. That was the perk for being an officer at his fan club.
Wow. I'm shook right now because
that was the second night, and the first night my ticket was $75.
Wow. And that was it a good seat?
It was a pretty decent seat. It was it wasn't the front row, but it was a pretty good seat. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So before we continue talking about this concert, because I want to talk to you too about just like the energy of the night, and like for people that don't know, this is the first time that Michael had performed in the US, as Reva mentioned earlier, in a long time, because Dangerous Tour, I don't believe that came to mainland America.
No, Dangerous Tour did not come to mainland America. History Tour, the History Tour was the only tour that came to America, but it was in mainland. That was in Hawaii. So this was the first tour in a very long time that Michael performed in the US.
Wow. And right in our hometown, New York City.
Right in our hometown, New York City. Yes.
How lucky. We were kind of fortunate. We didn't have to travel too far.
We didn't have to travel too far. We were very fortunate because we were right here. We got to hop on a train, take a cab to Madison Square Garden, and we were there. So we were lucky it was in our backyard.
Yes. Now, Reva, I'm going to show everybody a clip. It's going to be a clip of kind of like the ambiance of what it was like, just a little bit, so people can get the feeling of the 2001 vibe. But also, I'm going to show a clip of the Jackson brothers on the stage, reunited, all six brothers, for the first time in 20 years at that point.
Yes.
So let's take a look at the video.
Sono i ballerini? No.
A little amateur recording from YouTube that I
Yes.
snagged from somebody.
Yeah.
So watching that for me, I personally get a little teary-eyed just because that was such a big moment to see the Jacksons all together.
Exactly. It was such a pivotal moment in time, a very historic moment in time to see all of the brothers, all 6 brothers on stage performing together. And it was definitely a dream come true for a lot of us, who never had that opportunity to see it. So to see them perform. So it was definitely an impactful moment, a very pivotal moment.
Oh, I love that.
I will never forget it. The energy was like electrifying. It was like, oh my gosh, we screamed,
And
we danced. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, I would just remember too, like Michael coming up. I'm trying to remember if he came up from the stage.
Yes, he came up from on the stage. Yes.
With the helmet, and he took the helmet off.
Yes.
And then
yes,
the other brothers were like posed silhouettes.
Yes.
That was so, Salman's laughing at me, but he knows. I'm just so like, okay, you know how I am, Salman. I just love, I can't help but love these moments. So I do have a couple pictures though. Okay, so let's show the next picture. This is actually you and friends, right?
Yes, those are me and friends, and those were also my co-officers from the fan club. So that was Damiano. He's from Switzerland. Then Michelle, then her daughter Emma. So we were all officers of the fan club.
Okay, and then we have one more picture. This is right in front of the stage.
In front of the stage, yes.
Oh, I remember that little booklet that he has. I think I have that.
Yes. I think that was the only thing. Yes.
It was just like a random, like,
giveaway. A random thing. Yes, a giveaway, yes.
Yes, but I have that too.
Like a playbill of sorts, yes.
Yes. Very, very amazing. And so for you, like, so let me ask you also, was this your first time seeing Michael in concert?
This was my first time seeing Michael in concert, yes.
Was it? Because there are some fans who may have not become a fan until a couple of years ago, and they're watching this, and they're watching the Bad Tour, and they're watching the Victory Tour, and they're watching everything, and they're like, well, the 2001 show wasn't that great. But I want to tell people, and I want you to tell people too, that to be there was to understand the energy, and that's the only way you can understand it.
Exactly. To be there, just seeing it on TV or seeing it on YouTube does not do it any justice. You have to be there in the moment, live, with the other fans who were there and the audience, and feeling the energy, feeling the music, feeling the beat of the music, being where we were seated. And I don't think it didn't matter where you were sitting, but just being there in that moment.
No, that being where you were seated.
Being where I was seated.
Come on now.
Yes,
front row center.
I was seated. I know, I'm being modest. Being where I was seated, front row center, tops it all. There's nothing that can top that moment, and feeling that energy and seeing Michael right in front of you, seeing him dancing, everything. It was just magical. It's almost stratospheric.
Wow.
So you have to be there. So anyone just saying that, it was not all that great. No, it was. It definitely was a great moment, because you have to be there in a moment, and you have to be seated in the right place, be positioned in the right place.
Exactly.
And I was positioned in the exact place where I need, in the right place.
I love that. And I just remember too, like, seeing, because here's another thing that I could mention for people that might not know or might not have seen it. This was not only, it was like a concert, but it was more of a mini concert for Michael and the Jacksons. Prior to that, It was like they had Usher, they had Whitney Houston, Britney Spears.
Yes, exactly. They had all these other stars. They had Mark Anthony, they had Shaggy, Gladys Knight was there, Luther Vandross was there as well, Missy Elliott, Maya, all of these other artists were there those nights performing. So it was like a concert within a concert, and they were singing the hits of Michael Jackson.
Yes, and he also had some old Hollywood stars like Elizabeth Taylor,
Yes,
Marlon Brando.
Yes, was there as well. Whitney Houston was also there as well. She performed the first night. I believe was the first night she performed. Yes, was the first night she did. She started off with "Wanna Be Starting Something," and also where I was seated in the second, and where I was seated, there were celebrities in the audience. One of the celebrities that was in the audience that was seated opposite from me in the other section that I could see was Rodney Jerkins, Dog Child, who produced the Invincible album, and he was seeing me getting my groove on and jamming to the music, and he was giving me a high five and stuff like that. Because afterwards, after the show, he walked out and he saw me. He's like, "Yeah, I saw you." Definitely. And he walked out just like with everyone else, you know. So Dog Child was there, and there were other celebrities in the audience, but I remember specifically him being there. And Macaulay Culkin was also there as well.
Yes,
He was seated where Michael was seated, because Michael was seated at one point with Liz Taylor and Macaulay Culkin when the singers, the other entertainers were performing.
And I think I remember seeing his parents, or at least Miss Catherine.
His parents were there. Catherine was there, and Joseph. But I remember definitely Catherine was there. Miss Catherine.
Yes. Such a great, like, I feel like it was such a great moment to honor Michael, and like to think about, you know, he was honored with many awards and stuff, but this whole night was to honor him. And I remember I was going to show the video, but I'm not going to show it, but I might link it below. But there was like this montage they showed, and it was like, no one moves like Michael Jackson. And they showed like him dancing. And I just remember seeing that and being like, oh, he's about to hit the stage in an hour. Like, I'm really here. Like, it felt surreal.
Yeah. Yes, it did. It was a surreal moment. It was like one of those moments you have to be there.
Did you?
To experience it. Yes.
Did you notice a difference, or did you have a preference between the two shows, the 7th or the 10th?
The preference would be the second show because I was front row center, of course.
True.
So that would be the preference. I enjoyed both nights because I felt blessed to have the opportunity to see him perform and to witness all of these other entertainers perform as well.
I love.
Oh, and Beyonce and Destiny's Child were there on the first night. How could we? Yes. They performed the first night. The September 7th. Yes. So it was a conglomerate of all these music superstars who were there.
Yes.
Honoring and celebrating Michael and celebrating his legacy and what he had achieved at that point.
Now, I want to also get to showing you, showing the viewers some photos if they're watching on Spotify or on YouTube.
Okay.
Let's look at some of the photos that Reva was able to take on her own. So we have this one. Well, I kind of did a montage because I wanted to show people several of your clips, but one from The Way You Make Me Feel, one from Billie Jean. Here's another one. These are from the brothers, and then this is Billie Jean, and another. I'll Be There, right?
That was I'll Be There, yes.
So I want to also ask you to did you? Because I don't remember this, but they were filming this for the television special, which people can watch, they showed. Right. But did you notice anything that stood out to you about the fact that they were filming it for the show, or it just kind of felt like a regular concert?
It felt like a regular concert. To be honest, I didn't even really realize they were filming it for a show until I didn't know they were doing that. But I know Michael always documents his shows. Where he always documents mostly everything that he does because he has his own personal videographer and photographer. but I wasn't aware that was going to be filmed or taped for a television special later on. I wasn't aware of that. So it didn't take away anything for me. I was just living the moment, just being in the moment.
Yes. Now I want to. Oh no!
And for me taking those photos, I don't know how I did it because it was like just I wanted to capture it, and I had the perfect position to capture those photos, So I took my Nikon camera, and I was focusing, I zoomed in. I'm like, I'm capturing this. I know it's here to enjoy the music, but I'm capturing this moment because this is something that will live on forever in infamy.
Well, one of the things too.
Yeah, infinity.
Yeah. One of the things too is that we didn't have like cell phones like how we have now.
Exactly.
You were able to be more in the moment, and like you could snap your picture, yes, but then you're right back there. Whereas I feel like with the phone, like you're kind of like looking at it through your phone now.
Exactly. And I didn't, thank God we didn't have that, because I like to you just snap and that's it. Because if we had the smartphones, then I think that would have taken away some of that magic, because then you'd be so focused just looking through the phones. And I'm like, no, Michael is right in front of me here.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, so I'm not, and no.
I have a couple more clips of the show that I want to show, but first, I want to let people know about Patreon, because if they're enjoying this show, the best way to support is to support the Patreon. So, yes, right, Reva?
Yes.
So let's take a look at just this small clip of the Patreon, and then you guys can see if you would like to join or not and support the show. So here we go.
If you've been loving this journey through Michael Jackson's legacy with me, I want to invite you to take it a step further. On Patreon, you'll get early access to every video, completely ad-free, plus exclusive reaction videos, candid behind-the-scenes chats, and access to a library of over 80 plus bonus posts. More than that, when you join, you're helping me keep this community alive. It's just $4.99 a month, and even joining once makes a big difference. Visit patreon.com/MJFangirl and become part of something special. I can't wait to see you over there. Also, shout out to our Patreon Platinum sponsor, Marla's. You help support the show so much more than you know. I appreciate you. You are the absolute best.
Yeah, shout out to Marlis. She supports the show as a Platinum Patreon sponsor for the last year.
Nice.
So she has been super supportive. So shout outs to her always. So let's look at okay, we're gonna go into one more video right away, because we gotta just immerse ourselves in the 2001 moment, and let's look another clip, another amateur clip of that night.
Yes. Yes, I remember getting that. Yes.
Oh, I love this. Doesn't that give you the chills?
Yes, it gives me the chills.
Again, like, people that just watch the broadcast don't hear those screams. They don't hear the cheering.
Exactly. They don't. And there were things that we saw that they didn't show on television. Like, for example, there was this is like a funny moment. I'm going to say a funny moment where Michael was performing. I can't remember what song he was performing. And he had on black pants and black trousers. And when he bent over, his pants ripped.
Oh.
And no one really saw it. So I was in the front row, and I was like, oh my gosh. And here I am trying to get Michael's attention. Oh my gosh, look, I don't know how I was trying to do that. But eventually he realized what was going on. And then he went backstage and changed into the white pants that we saw. That was like towards the end of the night.
Oh, was that
Yes,
You
so
Rock My World, maybe?
that was around my world. Yes, yes.
You know what, too? I was wondering, I'm
I
like,
saw that. Yeah, so there were certain things you didn't get to see because they edited for the show, for television, for broadcasting. So there were certain things, certain elements that you didn't get unless you were there
right.
in person.
Yeah, and even like for You Rock My World, like people don't know because this is a couple weeks before the actual album came out.
Exactly.
And it was a single on the radio. But he did it live for the first time, and everybody was like,
he did. Yes,
what?
he did. He did it live for the first time. Yes.
It was a big deal. And I remember too, like he did like that move towards the end where it was like this thing. And
yes.
people went wild. People meaning me, but everybody else too. But like I was like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Yes, we all went crazy. We went bananas. Michael there's something to see him perform. That was one of my bucket list items, to see Michael perform live. And I'm so glad, because I had seen him in other aspects, but to see him perform in concert, that was phenomenal. That was a moment that was manifested for real.
Well, I know that we have the 30th anniversary, but we also have some other stuff to talk about. So let's just watch this last video of the 30th anniversary before we move on to some more of your memories.
I'm so happy to be here tonight because I get the privilege of bringing up.
Yes, Chris Tucker. How can we? Yes,
Chris Tucker.
This is the man, the greatest entertainer ever lived.
you see, you could hear the screams. That's
what we felt.
Yes, we felt the magic. That's Billie Jean.
Yep. And we all knew too what was about to go down.
Yes.
Oh. See, all these years later after Motown 25, and we still all go crazy for the same song and the same performance.
Exactly.
And even now, 24 years after this concert, we're still like,
yes.
So Reva, was there anything else about the 30th anniversary concert that you wanted to mention that we didn't get to talk about? Because we're going to move on to another special moment.
Yeah, I'm just want to say that was just such a beautiful moment in time, in music history, and there's nothing that can ever top that.
Hey,
and in my opinion, I'm so glad and I felt fortunate and blessed to have experienced that, and for Michael to giving me that opportunity to experience that moment. So yes.
Yeah, and a true testament to that, Michael actually really cared about his fans.
Exactly. He really cared about his fans, and he wanted his fans to be able to see it, and not at an because the ticket prices were astronomical. So he wanted to make it accessible for the fans to attend.
Yeah, and for those who might be listening and say, "Oh, 2,500 front row." Hey, think about it. This is 25 years ago almost.
2001.
So that money is a little different than $2,500 now. Like, it was a lot different.
It was a lot different. Trust me, it was a lot different.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have been, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
No. But I also remember too, sorry, I know I said we're going to move on, but I have to talk about this too. Didn't they serve like champagne and hors d'oeuvres or something in the front?
Yes, they served champagne and hors d'oeuvres. They did. there were waiters, cater waiters who were going around serving champagne with strawberries in it, which we got to experience that night as well
Oh.
before the show. Yes.
Well, if people are listening and they have questions for Reva, leave them in the comments because Reva and I are great friends, and I know she'll come back to the show and talk more about this experience, about the 30th anniversary. But we want to go on to another thing that was really huge in 2001. And this was not only the release of Invincible, but a really special thing that Michael did to promote it, which I believe he'd never done before, which is an album signing. Has he done an album signing before? I don't think so. That's the first I've heard.
I don't think so. He may have done it back in the 70s.
Okay, true.
I think, but we'll have to research that. He may have done it at record stores where he did album sign. I think he did it, but this, I don't know. I don't know, but we may have to go back in the archives for that because I felt as though Michael spoke about an incident where he did a record signing where it was like at a record store, probably in California or something like that.
Okay.
And that probably was in the late 70s, early 80s during the Triumph tour or something.
Okay, yeah. If someone knows,
we have to go through that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to tell them, drop it in the comments below, because sometimes we have people that watch and that have said like, oh, Michael signed my album in 1972, whatever. So people might be able to tell us.
Yeah.
But okay, well, anyway, this was the first that I had known of. I was 14, yes. I was in high school still, and I was super excited about it. But of course, I was not allowed to skip school, and I wish that I had. In retrospect, I'm like, one day I would have been fine. So
yes, exactly. One day, because then you know, a lot of people did what they had to do to be there. Trust me.
Yes.
You know.
So tell me about this. Tell me about the process of even lining up for this and what that was like.
Oh my gosh. So the Invincible signing was a promotion of Michael's album, solo album, the Invincible album. So how I found out about it, we used to Virgin Megastore. What is that? Virgin Megastore was where the album signing took place. And that's where we bought Michael's album when it came out. And that's how I found out, and my fellow friends in New York found out that the album signing was going to take place. So once we heard that, it was over. It was like, oh no, we're not going to miss this. We had to plan. We knew we had to camp outside in order to experience this, in order to get into the meet and greet, in order to get our album signed.
So
we camped, yes.
Meaning like
camping outside on the night before the album signing. We slept outside on the streets of Times Square in front of the Virgin Megastore. So my friends, you know, some got there earlier, so we had to secure a spot. We had those who had to go there and secure a spot. So we secured our spots, and we were out there all night. We carried a blanket. We carried pillows. Is that interfere?
No. You're okay. Great. Yeah.
Okay.
You said you're carrying blankets and pillows?
Pillows, cardboard to sleep on so that we can be comfortable. Someone was at the snack runner to get a snack. Someone brought us snacks. It was like, oh my God, just imagine camping out. That was an experience alone. I'm like, and it was cold. It was semi-cold, I think.
Yeah, because October.
It was November, actually.
Oh, November. Okay.
November. It was November. The album came out in October, like around late October. And then like 2 weeks later was the album signing.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. Which was the album signing was November 7th. So November 6th, we were out, camping outside with thousands of other fans. And the line went all wrapped around all the way around the block. But we were lucky to be right in front of the Virgin Megastore, the entrance. And there were rumors had it that we found out that Michael came by that night, but he was in disguise. So he was like surveying and scoping out the
Oh,
the the action that night of the fans out there. That's what we heard. Rumors had it that that's Michael came by, but he was in disguise because we were too focused on share. There were babies out there. People had like a camp, like a tent. It was just mad. It was pandemonium, pandemonium. And I was like, I never thought that I would be sleeping on the street, but for Michael, yes, we were doing this on the pavement for Michael to get one of those coveted access parts. I got like in the first 50. So yes.
wow. Now you're making me, I'm going to go on YouTube and see if I can find a clip, like a news clip. Because were there news cameras there? Somebody had to have captured you guys out there.
There was someone captured out there because the New York Post and the New York cameras were out there. There were cameras. So yeah, and Michael, that's why there was that rumor that Michael was there that night in disguise.
So you all
Now we found it.
You all were waiting. You kind of slept overnight, and then the next day you woke up, and then at a certain time, did they give you like a ticket, or how did that work?
Yes, at a certain time when the store opened, we had to go in. We got our ticket, we got our lanyards, and so that we can come back and we purchased our album that night, that morning that we wanted to be signed and which color that we wanted. I wanted the silver color, as you can see. And we got our passes. So that was early in the morning, like around, what time did the store open? Maybe like around 9 o'clock, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I know the following morning we got up. Who was there in that moment? Went in, purchased the album that we wanted to sign, and we were given our passes so we can come back in later on in the afternoon.
Wow. And this is,
each linear and each access had a number on it. So I'm sorry I don't have it because I don't know where is it right now. But that was the process.
Got it. Okay. And so then you got your wristband and then you came back a couple hours later, or did you have to stay there?
A couple hours later, yes.
Okay. So let me we have a photo of Michael at the Invincible signing, which people have probably seen online. But here's the picture. Here he is signing an album, and he has like this blue satin jumpsuit, or it's like a satin outfit on. And then the next picture is of Reva's album that she got signed. So Reva, tell us, because I was determined, but I couldn't get it done. There's a recording on YouTube. It's like several hours, 4 or 5 hours long. Of the signing. Someone recorded this and it shows every single person going up to Michael.
Yeah.
And I know you're on there, but I just didn't know like at what point. But if people are out there and they want to watch this signing, you can watch Michael and he interacts with the fans. You can see the fan interactions. I know that there was one lady that was like, something about, wedding ring or something like that. And he was like, see you at the wedding.
Close to him, yes.
Yeah. So tell us so you left, you got your wristband, you came back.
I got my access pass and my album. We threw out our blankets because we wasn't going to take that back home because, it's Times Square, it's dirty. So we just dumped everything. We got something to eat because there was a McDonald's nearby, but we stayed close by because we didn't want to miss out on anything at all. And we freshened up at the McDonald's bathroom. That was where we had to freshen up because we couldn't go in to the Virgin Megastore because it was closed we couldn't go in until the appointed time. So we had to freshen up with our perfume at McDonald's. We're just right next door. So we had to wait until that time in the afternoon. So it was a whole 24-hour, oh my gosh. Talk about craziness, but it was so worth it.
And when you got in, like, did you have to wait much longer? Because you were one of the first people, right?
We didn't have to wait that much longer, probably about 30 minutes, because where we got in and, we could see Michael being interviewed before, he was downstairs already on the lower level. So we could see him and, so it wasn't too long before we went down and then we had to line up again but it wasn't a very lengthy process. No, at least not to me.
Right. Especially if you've been waiting all night and all morning, like
Yes,
waiting 30 minutes
exactly.
with Michael right there is nothing.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us
And that
now.
30 minutes could have been. It was like 30 minutes.
Right. But even if
That's
it
what
was
I can
longer,
remember.
like it
Yes,
felt short,
it
right?
felt like 30 minutes. Yes, exactly.
So tell me now about now I know everybody's been waiting for this point. Tell us about your interaction with Michael on that day.
I was starstruck. Believe it or not, I couldn't say. I don't know what came out of my mouth. I was like, "Hi, Michael, I love you," and that was it. I think because I was just being there, and the guards were really making sure you didn't stay too long, But I just said, "Hi, Michael, I love you," and that was it. And I was starstruck. Literally, I was in a starstruck moment at that point. So that's all I can remember.
Oh,
But it was a very pleasant exchange. He gave me a smile, and that was it.
oh man. But
That was it. But I was starstruck.
I can
Yeah,
imagine.
I froze because I remember I froze. Yeah, because I didn't know what else for it to say.
Right.
Just imagine being in front of Michael like that. I didn't know what else to. I don't know how. Yeah,
And
that
he's
sums
literally
it up.
he was literally just like at a table right in front. It's not like they were behind a
Yeah,
gate or anything. It's
no,
just
it was
like,
really right. Yes.
yeah. I can I cannot relate to meeting Michael, but I did meet Latoya and they have a
Yeah.
similar eye. Like they're siblings,
Yes.
right? So
The eyes, and the eyes draw you in because they're so magnetic. So can you imagine feeling all that energy and that power? Just like, of course you're going to be starstruck. Well, I was like, oh my gosh, like deer caught in the headlights.
Yeah.
And mind you, I had met Michael 2 or 3 years prior. So you think by then I probably would have been like, I guess it's the whole moment and what was going on. And just like, oh my gosh, I was starstruck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard because you're like, okay, you even if you practice what you want to say, it's kind of like,
Yes.
hi. And they don't,
Yes,
this person,
that's how it was. Oh, hi. Like,
this person, like Michael, he's not, I mean, he can guess, right? Because he's Michael Jackson, but he doesn't know, like, hey, like this, Reva helped with like all the tickets for the concert and she saw me 5 years ago. And like, I don't know he can fathom all that. And there's no way you cannot convey that in an interaction like that.
No, I could not. I could not. No way. No way. No.
Well, we both know some other people that went to this signing too, like Vernay.
Yes, I was going to say that. Renee was there. She was in our little pod, in our little quad. She came up from Delaware. So, who else was there? My other friends, Yamalat, Medina. That's the girl Yuffie saw. She had like a belly piercing and Michael was enamored with it.
Yes, he was like,
Yes,
oh, what is
yes.
that?
Yes, and Delavita and some other fans and
Shelly was there too.
oh Shelly. Oh, I didn't Shelly Block.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
But,
I didn't know her then. I didn't know her then.
Same. I just know because I saw her she has it framed in a nice frame, her autograph from that night.
She did tell me she was there. Yeah, she did tell me, yes. But I didn't know who Shelly was on Google. We even know that our paths were gonna cross much years later.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just love, and you know what? It takes me back to a time when people don't understand, like during this early 2000s, it was so exciting because like you said, he was doing a lot of promotion in the US.
Yes, he was, because he was at Carnegie Hall that year.
Which you also,
February 14, which I also attended and had really great seats, but we're not going to go into that right now. But that was like the preview leading up to the album, to the release of the album, to the concerts, and he was in London in 2001. So he was out and about in 2001.
Yeah, it was a really big moment. And a lot of people, if they don't know these things and they don't look at the timeline, they might not realize because for previous albums, Michael had a lot of music videos, or excuse me, short films that were released. Invincible, not so much, but he was doing a lot
Not
of
so much,
appearances.
no. There wasn't any. The only two short films that were released from the Invincible album was "You Rock My World" and "Cry," and he was not in "Cry."
Right. Yeah. Which
That
is,
was it.
yeah. Yeah. So like,
You know, we
for
would have
pe-
loved to have seen more short films from that, but there was something going on with Sony and the album, and I think that was his fault. There was some, whatever it was, behind the scenes internal issues, why it wasn't heavily promoted as it should have been, or have more short films released from the album.
yeah, I mean, I
There
think
was some internal issues with Sony and Michael.
yeah, I wish, like, looking back, like, I have so many special memories, and I know you do too, of that time. But I do wish, like, that the album and that period of time got a little bit more love, because he was
Yes,
very active
exactly.
with the fan community. He was on stages.
Yes. He was very active with the fan community, very, very active. And that I know having the album signing really brought, for those who never got the opportunity to meet him or interact with him, that was like a great moment for him to do that. So for him to do that, to agree to sit there for 800 people, and he signed and he stayed there, signed every album, you know, and he did it and he showed up. That was really remarkable of him. And it shows the type of person he was and who he was and how he cared about the fans. So yes, I wish he could have done more. Wish there were more promotion of the album here. One of my dreams, I wish he could have done like an unplug session, you know, because of the album, especially to hear him sing Butterflies. I would have loved to hear him sing Butterflies, or Whatever Happens, or Speechless, you know, that would, or 2001 Unplugged. Oh my goodness,
yes.
that would have been phenomenal. But you know,
And I don't
it
know.
is what it is. Yeah.
I know. I was going to say, I don't know if all our listeners recall, or if they didn't know, but at that time, a lot of times with the CD single, they would release the acapella as well, plus the instrumental. So you kind of got that hint of like what an unplug could be like. So I agree with you, Reva. Like, it would have been so great to hear him sing live in that way.
Yes.
And this is a whole nother topic, which we won't get into, but I'll just bring it up. For the 2009 This Is It O2 Arena shows, he sent out a survey. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that. What songs would you like to see on the set list? Yes, I remember that.
And we had
very clearly.
We had to mark like our top, I think it was our top 10 or whatever. I forgot how they did it. But Whatever Happens, Butterflies, a lot of Threatened, a lot of those songs were on there from the Invincible album. Well, I've loved this conversation.
I loved it too. Oh my gosh, it went so well.
Yes, and I feel like people really got a glimpse. I hope that they have learned and gotten a glimpse back of just like what it was like to experience being a Michael Jackson fan in the early 2000s, you know, from your perspective, especially being so involved in the fan community.
Yes, I was very, very, very involved. Very involved.
And I know
heavily involved.
Yes. And Reva actually has some other stories. So comment below if you want her to come back, because she's actually helped out at Michael Jackson's birthday party. We could talk about Carnegie Hall. We could talk about London, right? At another time.
Yes, London. Yes, at another time. Yes.
So comment below if you'd like to hear more stories from Reva. And if you are just new to the show and the podcast, check out episode 16. I promise you, that one is going to be an episode that you don't want to miss, right? There were so many people, seriously, Reva, there were so many people on that were like, oh, bring Reva back. Like, when is Reva coming back? Like, and they would comment. They would comment on even other random videos like, hey, do you think Reva will come back for another story? And I'm like, yes.
Oh my gosh. I feel so honored. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
because these fan stories are so important, and like to hear the perspectives of people, because you know, you always hear the stories of people that you hear the same stories over and over, but you know, the more you know, they followed him from London, from Europe and Germany, and from here and there, and but that's a certain type of story. But your story is so unique because you were with the fan community here in the U.S. You were traveling as well, and you actually met Michael a couple of times, and I think that those stories are so important to tell.
Yes. Yes.
Ah,
Went on road trips to Cleveland, Ohio for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but that wasn't the history. That's another story. But we'll leave that alone.
oh, I didn't even know about that one myself. You
That was
went to
a
that too?
road trip. Yeah, but that should have been in the previous. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that was
Okay.
a road trip to Cleveland for the induction of the Hall of Fame. But
Oh. Okay.
we can kind of revisit that somehow.
Yes, we'll revisit that another time. And yeah, this has been great. I want to thank you so much for being so generous with your stories and your time and your photos from that night.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm
Yes.
glad. Yes,
And if you guys are interested, again, like I said, in having Reva back on, make sure you comment because that's how I know who to have back on the show. And of course, like, you know, Reva and I have been friends for so long, but there's so many stories that I'm
yes.
just hearing for the first time too. So I love it. Well, Reva, I'm going to say thank you again, and I'm going to let people know what to do if they want to follow the show and subscribe. You guys,
Okay.
make sure that you are following not only on YouTube, where we're almost at 50,000 subscribers, but also make sure that you're following the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Spotify is where I post the videos of the podcast. And join the Patreon. The show is really a work in progress, and we're always looking to grow and improve. And the way that you can help support the show is with a one-time pledge of $4.99 a month, or you can support every single month. If you cancel after 1 month, I'm not mad because you get to access the entire library of all of the previous special exclusive members only content. And I get to have your help and support in creating much more of these Michael Jackson celebratory shows. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.